Howdy, thanks for stopping. Got a couple more easy builds to do in the wood shop today. They're easy to do, but still useful stuff. I'm going to build a couple things that I'll be using on my desk. And minimal tools involved also. All you really need is one of these and one of these. So let's go. For the first project, I'm starting with 3 pieces of different species of wood out of my scrap bin. Hickory on the left there, more mystery wood for the center one, the same wood I used on the mallet, and then the spalted wood there on the right might be beech, but I'm not sure. Hey look, I'm actually using something other than my finger to spread the glue. I'm just going to join these together with wood glue and clamps. And even though I'm using a spreader, I still managed to get glue on my finger anyway. I can't win. Join those two together, and then a little more glue. Oh geez, more glue on the finger. Messy Marvin at work. I say this wood came from my scrap bin, but it's really just my wood supply, since I always say I don't really have scraps. I just have pieces I haven't used yet. Anyway, I'm gluing and clamping, and I like the quick clamps because they're easy to use, but I ended up needing more clamps for this glue up because one piece, the spalted piece there, was a little warped. So I ended up using 6 of the small screw type clamps. I got it all clamped up and set it aside to dry, and while that's drying, I'll start on the other project. This is a 1x8 pine board, and you can see here it's close to 22 inches or so long. I'm cutting 12 inches out, that'll be the main piece. And from the leftover piece, I'm going to cut an 1.5 inch piece off to use. Or that was my intention anyway, but the wood had other plans, as you'll see here in a minute. Now I'm going to demonstrate that I can still use one of these old woodworking techniques, like running a handsaw. Shades of Roy Underhill here. I'm also going to demonstrate how using small pieces of cross-grained wood like this, especially softwoods, is usually a bad idea. I'm sawing away as happy as an old guy in a wood shop until I get to that hairline crack in the wood that I didn't see. Yep, there it is. You can see it starting to open up. I'm so intent on watching and following the line, I haven't seen it yet. Now you can really see it, but I still haven't. But now I do. Unusable. So I went to my wood supply and found a piece of 1.5 inch wide stock to use instead. This will be much better with the grain running the long way. The short grain piece would have worked for what I'll be using it for, but this will be better. I'm going to cut a piece about 1/4 inch or so shorter than the width of the standard 1x8. Roy would be proud. And I'm going to rip off a bit of the other piece as well, but you wouldn't have to. You could keep them all the same width to make it easier. Time for a little sanding. Doing this by hand as well, just to say I did, but also because I find hand sanding a little therapeutic sometimes, but not very entertaining to watch, so we'll jump ahead and go on to assembly. This little workmate comes in handy for me quite often, and I'm using it here to hold the one piece while I line up the other piece, and then I can clamp that also and hold it in place while I drill pilot holes for screws. This will be the bottom, so these screws won't really show. So I figure out about where I want it. Get a clamp so it's handy. Add some glue to the end of the board. Back to the finger spreader. Position it pretty much by feel and eye. And clamp it in place. And drill and screw. And there it is so far. Now I'm going to clamp the small piece in. And I'm going to drill holes in this also, and I'm going to drill these holes all the way through this piece. So it will also attach from the bottom, so those screws won't show either. I'm using an 1/8 inch bit for these holes. I figure it would be a good idea if I did a countersink on these as well, just to be on the safe side. This piece goes on the bottom of the 12-inch board at the opposite end from the other piece. Got the clamps handy. Figure out where I want it, again by eye. Add some glue. Carefully get it into position. Then put a clamp on and then slide it all over the place because, well, you know, wet glue is slippery. Anyway, with a little finagling, I got it where I wanted it and clamped. So now I'm going to carefully drill pilot holes into the other board, and I have to be careful so as not to drill all the way through because, you know, that would be bad. I'm using 2-inch screws for this, and they could possibly poke out the other side. So with the pilot holes, I could grind the point off of the screws to shorten them a bit just to make sure they don't, and that's what I did. And I was successful. No poking. It's done, and if some of you don't know what that is, you'll see it at the end of the video. Back to the other project, and out of the clamps it comes. And even with all these clamps, the boards weren't a perfect fit because, after all, wood is wood and not perfect. I had some tiny gaps in the glue joints, so I did the old add some glue in there and hit it with some sanding to fill in those gaps, and that worked very well. And if you're saying, hey, you didn't say we needed a sander, well, this technique works with hand sanding as well. So now that it turned out pretty well, let's cut it in half. Huh? Yeah, we're actually making two. And yes, this can be cut with a handsaw. I'm not because I'm lazy and this is easier. Back to the drill. I laid out for a grid of 9 holes, and the first 6 will be about 5/16 of an inch. I'm using a brad point bit, hoping the brad point will keep it from wandering in that end grain. Unfortunately, this set of bits is from the cheap tool store, and they're not the sharpest tools in the kit, as you can see. A good set of brad point bits will be going on my Christmas list. So after some mild frustration, I switched to a regular twist bit to see how that did, and it cut better. I added this square just to give myself a visual reference to go by and try to keep the handheld drill straight. It helped, but not greatly. I switched back to the dull brad point here, and my plan was to start out with the brad point on each hole to get them started accurately and deep enough, then switch over to the twist bit to finish them out. That was a good plan, except I didn't get them quite deep enough, and I ended up with a rather haphazard grid of holes. Not that big a deal, though, because it's good enough for who it's for, because it's for me. So I just soldier on. One important step to not forget is always pause to blow the drill shavings onto your pants. Check. With the first 6 holes gouged out, the next 3 are with a bigger bit. And this was a 15/32 or 31/64 brad point. And this one was slightly less dull than the other one, so I had a little more success with it. After all the holes were sufficiently dug, I took it over to the miter saw, set it 35 degrees, and cut the top off. Again, this can be done with a handsaw, but if you don't have a power miter saw and you want accurate cuts, you can pick up one of these. They work surprisingly well. I held back from the corner just a bit for this cut, so it has a slight flat spot on the very top edge, and that's just a matter of choice. So here you can see that, and also my cattywampus holes. It'll still function just fine though. The second one I did on the drill press. Still not a perfect result, but better. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Now for some finish. There are a host of options when it comes to finish on any wood project. I'm experimenting with different finishes, and here I'm just wiping on some tung oil. I haven't used it before, so I thought I'd give it a try. It seems to bring out the grain of the wood nicely, I think. For the other piece, I want to put some stain on it, but the first thing I'm applying is a sanding sealer to help the stain go on more evenly and prevent blotching. This is especially important with pine. This stuff just brushes on and it's very thin and watery, so it soaks into the wood pretty quickly. After I applied it, I gave it a few minutes and then wiped it down to remove any excess, and then applied the stain, which they recommend doing within 2 hours of applying the sealer. So there we have it, a couple of pretty simple builds to do. This little bookshelf that you could use just about anywhere on a mantle or another shelf, or I'm going to use mine on my desk. Pretty easy to build. I just made it out of pine, and it was out of a piece of 1x8, about 21, 22 inches long. And that was enough. This piece is 12 inches and this piece is about 9 inches. I did make, you probably noticed that I cut off an 1.5 inch piece off of this board that I was going to use for that leg, but it had a slight crack in it, a hairline crack, and the integrity of it wasn't any good. So I had a piece of 1.5 inch stock left over from something else, and I just use that with the grain going lengthways, and it's much stronger. I made that a little bit narrower than this piece. Also this upright I made a little bit narrower just because I think it looks better with a little reveal there. You wouldn't have to do that. You could make them flush, but overall I think it turned out pretty good. And then the pen and pencil holders I made out of 3 different species of wood glued together, laminated together. You could use the same wood and glue them together to get the thickness you want, or you could use one thick piece if you've got a thick piece of wood, just one species. I put a simple oil finish on those with tung oil. This one I did sanding sealer first and then stain, and I'll probably put a coat of clear on that. Other than that, like I say, pretty easy to do. I did do the different size holes just for smaller pencils and bigger round pens. The other thing I'll say about those is when you're drilling the holes, I laid them out pretty precisely, and I tried to drill them by hand with a handheld drill. And it's very hard to be accurate and even because the drill bits tend to wander. Even using the brad point bit that I thought would go pretty straight, it wandered. Of course, it didn't help that it was a cheap set from the cheap tool store and not very good quality and pretty dull. So I ended up having to drill them out with a regular twist drill bit. What I would recommend, I did the second one with the drill press and it was more accurate, still not perfect. So if you were going to batch those out to sell or something, what I would do is make a template and drill it precisely, get them right where you want them, and then use that template as a drill guide when you're drilling these. That way you'll get them all right and all in the same place. But so there we go. I guess that's it for this time. Thanks for watching. Oh, and in keeping with the theme of the t-shirt, I was thinking about possibly trying to lose some more weight, and I was going to try that all almond diet, but that's just nuts. See you next time.